Today we'll be discussing how owners, investors, and developers can effectively communicate the needs of their new facility to their design team. We'll review some of the basic design documents needed to set the proper direction, and also discuss the importance of the trials and errors that are expected during the design process. Many owners do not have an ongoing construction program, so they're without an in-house project management team. Additionally, their core business is the products and services they sell, not the design and construction business. Still, the owner's leadership team will be tasked with communicating the needs and expectations of their proposed project to the engineer or architect. They quickly find out that this is serious business and there's a lot of time, money, and effort at stake, and it needs to be executed properly. The owner's team will ultimately need to bridge the gap from where they are now to the goals they intend to reach. So the goal of this video is to help owners get on a more equal footing with their design team. We want to make sure that the owners hit the mark and achieve the goals and visions of their business stakeholders so the project will be a success. First, let's move into a quick overview of the design process. There are fundamentally two overall stages of design. First, the programming and concept stage, and second, the construction document stage. So for the concept stage, one of the first things to understand is what concept is and what it's not. Concept is the first phase of design. The goal is to simply establish the size and layout of the proposed facility. This is basically where you figure out how the new building will look and operate. Next is the construction document phase. I'm not going to read all of this, but you can see that there's a lot to do. These documents are the final technical drawings and engineering used to permit, bid, and construct the project. All of the building systems are designed during this phase. This CD stage includes all the dimensions, notes, sections, details, and material schedules, all that stuff that's mind-numbing to read. The concept and CD stages are normally split into smaller phases. These phases give the owner a chance to review and comment on the design, as well as develop some intermittent cost and schedule estimates. Again, our focus for today is on the programming and concept phase. Only about 8 to 10% of the total design fee is spent during concept, but it's by far the most important stage of design. Now let's take a look at the ingredients that make up a good conceptual design. The first and most important piece of the information is the building area program. The area program is the mathematical basis of design for the new facility. It's the most crucial step in the design process. It's simply a list of the interior and exterior spaces and their associated size. These spaces are normally grouped by location and type of use. For example, guest areas versus operational areas. The total area of these spaces equals the size of the building, hence it's the biggest driver of money. There are two different area measurements used for programming, gross and net area. The easiest way to understand the difference is just like your paycheck, before and after taxes. Gross area is what you build and pay for. This area is calculated using the overall dimensions of the space. This gross area includes all of the interior walls, structure, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing chases. Net area is the usable area. This is calculated using the interior dimensions from inside of wall to inside of wall. Keep in mind there are statutory requirements for every space within these buildings, so an architect should be consulted to develop the program. Based on recent global events, everybody knows the world is not a perfect place, so you'll need to have some area program options. I call these options T, M, and R. T is the target program for the building. M is the maximum program. You use this for long-term master planning and potentially if you have more money available. And R is a reduced program, the minimum you need to operate in case you fall short of money. Generating these three options will help you first learn the needs and priorities of the facility. It generates operational phasing and facility expansion ideas. It improves the site master plan and allows you to expand the facility with minimal rework on the infrastructure. It provides options during bidding to price alternates in case you have more money available. And last, it demonstrates thought and seriousness to the stakeholders and investors. Now let's move to the outside of the building. The site area program is similar to the building program and it looks at the overall property requirements. Here you're looking at the location of the buildings on the site and the building's orientation. The most important feature of this plan is the building should have a good sense of arrival. This means the facility's arrival sequence needs to be understood so the building presents itself well to the visitors, the real estate money shot, so to speak. Next, are you starting with the facility or the parcel first? The parcel size needs to fit the facility. If not, the facility may need to be modified to fit the available parcel. This means if you have limited land, you'll need to start stacking the building. Understand that there are statutory parking and environmental requirements for every project. These may be the biggest driver of the site's area program. So that concludes our area program discussion. Again, establishing the program is the most important part of the design process and the main driver of cost. Your goal is to make the facility as efficient as possible and not waste any space. Now let's move on to some example conceptual design documents that will be needed. The floor plan is a graphical representation of the area program that we just discussed. It's a two-dimensional layout of these spaces. It's the first glimpse of how the building will look and function. It will be the primary tool used to get input from the owner's different departments on their needs and wants. An interior elevation is a three-dimensional rendering of a space. There's a lot of architectural detail in these interior spaces, so they should only be used in select high-visibility spaces like lobbies and public areas. That's just to minimize design cost. As you can see, there's a lot to draw. These elevations will be used for the initial discussions on material and finish selections. A building section is just a vertical cut through a building. It presents the building's levels and overall structure. It provides a feel for the overall volume and the scale of the building and shows the relationship of the building to the site and topography. It also serves to provide context between the operational spaces located above and below each other. The site plan is just an exterior floor plan. It presents a two-dimensional layout of the proposed improvements to the property. A list of typical exterior areas might include arrival roadways, drop-off and parking areas, back-of-house and service areas, hardscape and landscaping areas, and aquatic features and stormwater retention requirements. It also shows the site's topography. Topography can present creative design opportunities but can sometimes make the land inefficient. A site area study is just a close-up view of a portion of the site plan. You use this to analyze select areas. This is an example study of an outdoor entertainment area. It's supplemented by a photographic image study on the right. This image study is just a collection of existing photos representing the design intent. These photos are a quick, cost-effective way to provide further detail to the design so you can start pricing it out. Exterior elevations are a three-dimensional rendering of the building's exterior. It's first impressions. It shows if the building's an eagle or a swan. It presents the massing, materials, colors, textures, and overall character of the facility. It's less design effort than the interior elevations because there's less detail. You only want to render select elevations, again, the real estate money shots. You'll know which elevations need to be completed. Finally, it depicts the building's style or vernacular and represents the owner's new image when guests visit the facility. Next, let's talk about hard three-dimensional scale models. 3D scale models are good for bringing ideas to life. You can touch and feel this. It's not digital like we just viewed. It's a good communication and presentation tool and generates discussion during meetings. It helps fundraising, donor gatherings, and public events. It demonstrates the owner's seriousness about the project and builds credibility. This is an aerial photo of the constructed facility and shows how you get from a three-dimensional model to reality. This rendering takes it to the next level. This is one of our sports arena projects. The top interior rendering was prepared prior to starting construction. The site was still a grassy field. The bottom photograph was taken on opening day. The similarity is amazing. It's the best I've ever seen, even better than what we've done at the theme parks. An architectural animation is a video rendering of the building or spaces. This example is an exterior animation of an office building. You can see the level of detail possible, even on the site and landscape features. There are many benefits to these animations. They present the project's details in an interactive format that's easy to use and share. The animation can be set in the project's actual surroundings. It's a cost-effective way to analyze different design ideas, and it can be integrated with the animation of the project's cost and schedule. This type of animation is helpful during marketing and capitalization. And most importantly, it makes a lasting impact and communicates well with the project investors and stakeholders. These animations can be expensive, so you'll need to keep the quantity and duration of these animations to a minimum. So that wraps up our review of the basic conceptual design documents. Our final topic is the importance of the trials and errors that are inevitable during the design process. Organizations are made up of people, and people from both the owner and design teams will need to collaborate about how to best design the facility. The necessities that are calling the project into being must be properly communicated to accomplish the highest purpose of your company. The approach and format of this process will be crucial for the project's success. But inevitably, even the best planned process may naturally lead to some deliberation on what's the best solution for any given challenge. Contending with different viewpoints is necessary because ownership has an inward visibility and competency, while the designer has the same but outward to the market. So, some quick advice from my experience. Egos are the opposite of humility, and humility is the prerequisite for learning. During the design process, everyone is learning, so pride stops learning. Alfred North Whitehead once said that the reason we think is so we can let our thoughts die instead of us. Error is the price we pay for progress. So you want to pay this price during design, not during or after construction. This means you'll need to deliberately create an atmosphere that allows all ideas to be thrown onto the table for evaluation. The goal of the process is to kill the foolish ideas and let the good ones survive. A thought is a potential action. It's not an action. The best facility arises when the best ideas prevail. To wrap this up, the kitchen may get messy, but something great always comes out of it. Achieving the best outcome is rooted in the open exchange of ideas. Bringing ideas into the light for discussion will improve design quality. Hopefully this video helps you better understand the role of the design documents and helps improve your communication with your ideas. Ideas are visions that need to be explored. The goal is to bring the best visions to reality. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your new project.